So the Chinese Grand Prix is done and dusted, and now on to Miami. So the race in China was kind of exciting, given that there were two safety cars that kind of mixed up the race, mixed up the strategy. I think the biggest winner was from the race is Lando Norris and McLaren, finished in second. The biggest loser would be Daniel Ricciardo. Unfortunately, Lance Stroll crashed into him before the restart of the first safety car and kind of ended his race, which was a kind of a good race. He was on top of that RB car finally with the new chassis, and he was beating his teammate Yuki Tsunoda. So I know he was disappointed after the race, but in my opinion, he shouldn't be. He will bounce back. It's kind of a good sign for him that he's now getting the hang of it. And in terms of McLaren, it was surprising that Lando and McLaren were kind of on the pace quite quickly compared to Ferrari, and maybe because the sprint weekend helped them to get on top of kind of understanding the tires, understanding the car properly, and set it up accordingly. And if we compare them to Ferrari did not test the hard tires, and during the race when Leclerc put on the hard tires, it was a new adventure for him. He couldn't find the pace. He couldn't find, I think, he couldn't generate enough temperature in the tires, and that's why he lacked the pace compared to Perez and Lando. The thing is, now in Miami, it's going to be another sprint weekend, so it's going to be challenging as well for the teams to get on top of understanding the tires and setting up the car properly. To be competitive. For the winner, Max Verstappen, and Red Bull is just another day in the office. He and his team are very dominating this season. I don't think anybody would catch him. Just like Toto said previously, he's in a different league, and good for him. Like, Red Bull did a good job in building a very competitive car, and he's taking advantage of that and capitalizing on this opportunity, because you don't get that every now and then. Just like, for example, Hamilton a few years back when Mercedes were actually dominating at the beginning of this hybrid era. And speaking of Mercedes, it's just another season to write off. It's kind of the same conversation we're hearing, that there's the correlation between their simulator and what they see on the track is not lined up. It's kind of the same thing we heard before. And they're behind. I think they're like the third or fourth quickest team. I think now the order has been kind of established. You got Red Bull at the top, second would be Ferrari at the moment, third is McLaren, fourth Mercedes, and fifth is Aston Martin. And speaking of Aston Martin, Alonso is kind of doing his best to get the result, to get the maximum results he can. And for his teammate Lance Stroll, I think he called it a racing incident, or maybe lack of concentration. Prior to the safety car, he was doing well. Lance, maybe in quali, isn't on top of it at the moment, but in the race he typically gets up to speed and fights back. For Miami, I'm excited and kind of want to see what Ferrari can do. It's another sprint weekend, and they have a lot of work to do to get up to speed and to kind of finish at least second. And we gotta look for Lando. What can Lando do as well in Miami? We know Max is gonna win for sure, unless some reliability issue happens or something tragic happens. But the win is for sure for Max in Miami. Perez has to finish second. If Red Bull have plenty of options to replace Perez if they need to. Yuki, I think he's one of the main contenders, or could be Daniel Ricciardo if Daniel Ricciardo manage to bounce back this year and actually beat Yuki kind of by a good margin to prove that he still got it. Let me know what you think about Miami, what you're looking for, and as always, thanks for watching, and follow me for more.